the United States has just dropped an economic bombshell on India, doubling tariffs to a staggering 50% on our exports. And the timing? No accident. This came just hours after New Delhi refused to back down on buying Russian oil despite heavy pressure from Washington. It's a move that could shake India's trade, rattle markets, and spark a full-blown diplomatic standoff. But here's the twist. Prime Minister Modi didn't flinch. In fact, he fired back with one of his boldest statements yet, a declaration that he's ready to pay a personal price to protect India's farmers and fishermen. So why did Trump escalate the tariff war now? And what exactly makes Modi willing to risk so much in the middle of this geopolitical storm? Let's break it down. This latest tariff hike didn't come out of nowhere. Just 3 weeks ago, the Trump administration slapped a 25% penalty on Indian exports, punishing New Delhi for continuing to purchase Russian crude. At the time, it was already one of the steepest trade measures between the two nations in decades. But yesterday, Trump took it even further, doubling the penalty. With this extra 25% added, the total tariff now stands at a crushing 50%. That's not just a number on paper. This kind of jump hits everything from agricultural goods to textiles, raising costs for American importers and putting Indian exporters in a chokehold. And make no mistake, this isn't just about economics. It's political leverage, plain and simple. By targeting India's export lifelines, Washington is signaling that if New Delhi wants to keep its oil deals with Moscow, it will pay a steep price in trade. But here's where things get interesting. Modi's response wasn't to bargain or backtrack. Instead, he doubled down, and his next move left both allies and critics stunned. Hours after the tariffs kicked in, Prime Minister Narendra Modi took the stage at the MS Swaminathan Centenary International Conference in Delhi. The timing couldn't have been more symbolic, an event honoring the architect of India's Green Revolution, a man who transformed the country's food security. And in front of farmers, scientists, and political leaders, Modi delivered a clear, defiant message. The interest of our farmers is our top priority, he said. India will never compromise with the interests of its farmers, fishermen, and livestock holders. Then came the line that turned heads both at home and abroad. I know that I will have to pay a huge price for this personally, he declared, but I am ready. India is ready for the sake of the country's farmers, fishermen, and livestock holders. It wasn't just rhetoric. The subtext was clear. No matter how much economic pressure the U.S. applies, India's agricultural policies are off limits. And by framing it as a personal sacrifice, Modi shifted the fight from a trade dispute into a question of national pride. But standing your ground is one thing. Sustaining the blow from a 50% tariff is another. And that's where the real challenge begins. This fight isn't just about numbers on a trade sheet, it's about the backbone of India's economy. Agriculture isn't a side industry here. It's the livelihood of over half the country's population. From wheat fields in Punjab to fishing boats in Kerala, millions depend on exports to keep their communities alive. And when the U.S. targets those exports, it's not just a hit to India's trade balance, it's a direct squeeze on the people who put food on the nation's table. That's why Modi invoked the legacy of MS Swaminathan, the man who led India's Green Revolution. If food security was the battle of the past, Modi is framing nutritional security and farmer sovereignty as the battle of today. By linking tariffs to the livelihoods of farmers and fishermen, this isn't just an economic dispute anymore. It's a test of national resolve. Back down, and India risks looking weak on the global stage. Stand firm, and the economic pain could be immediate, but so could the political payoff at home. And as this trade storm intensifies, the question isn't only how India will respond, how far Modi is willing to go in this showdown with Washington. The next move in this standoff could decide more than just trade numbers. It could redefine India's relationship with the United States for years to come. Behind the scenes, talks on a long-stalled trade deal are frozen, and Washington is still pushing for deeper access to India's agricultural market. New Delhi has resisted so far, but with tariffs now at 50%, the pressure is mounting. So what happens next? Will India retaliate with its own trade barriers, risking an all-out economic clash? Or will back-channel diplomacy pull both sides back from the brink? One thing's certain, this is no longer just about Russian oil or tariffs. It's about who bends first, and the answer could send shockwaves far beyond New Delhi and Washington. And if you think this standoff has reached its peak, just wait, because the next chapter might be the most explosive yet.